Playing against royalty in the past, I think he brings a lot of energy to the team, and again a lot of pace in game. He fills a lot of gaps where, in that aggression, so his team don't have to pick up every single cut. A lot of energy there. He likes to talk a lot of trash.
I think we'll beat E6 3-1 and 3-2.
I feel like we will beat Elevate 3-0 or 3-1. They might sneak a map off us. Best case scenario for them.
I believe, I'm very confident we'll beat them both times.
Day 3 of the CWL Global Pro League continues live from the MLG Arena here in Columbus, Ohio. The next match up on the main stage, Enigma6 take on Europe's Elevate. And for Europe's Elevate, it hasn't been a good weekend by any means. They currently tied with Jack's famous 0-15 meme. Will they be able to break it? Feel sorry for Jack. He's probably going to have to come out with a limited edition t-shirt if they do.
I don't feel bad for Jack.
No, I don't think many people do. But, of course, looking at this next series, it's a weird one, right? Because we know E6 need to win, Merc.
Yes.
But does the actual map count matter in this series?
No, because when we look at these tiebreakers, it'll be 3 teams at 4-2, you know, at the end if FaZe wins. So when we look at those teams that are all tied for 4-2, we'll just look at the map counts between each other. So Elevate will basically be out of it and how they played. But yes, Enigma6, they just need to win no matter what.
So Elevate could theoretically get a map here, but the irony of the whole thing is it wouldn't really matter anyway. So they leave it all the way to the end. But of course, speaking of the end, that final game, yes. I know, Matt, you were in the green room, you kind of doing some math, doing some algebra and whatnot. What did you figure out? What are the scenario going into that final game?
So basically, as long as Enigma6 takes this game, right, they need to beat Elevate. Does not matter the map count, a lot like what Joe was talking about.
Okay.
If FaZe wins, basically the way to think about it easily is Ghost Gaming needs 2 maps against FaZe. They get 2 maps, they go to game 5, they lose, they're in. They take the series, obviously, you know, they would need to take more than 2 maps to take the series, so they can get through. That's a fact. Fact. Just up here giving you guys facts. And then if you saw FaZe win either 3-1 or 3-0, then I believe it's Enigma6 and FaZe to go through.
Wow. That'd be pretty punishing after a 4-0 start.
4-0 start. You come into day 3, 12-2 on map count. It would be absolutely brutal. So to reiterate Matt's point once again, a FaZe 3-0 at the end of the day, Ghost is out. A FaZe 3-1, believe Ghost is still out because of head-to-head. A FaZe 3-2, Ghost would make it in. So Ghost just need a minimum of 2 maps in that final series. Of course, without being too rude, we kind of write this game off. We were expecting Enigma6 to take it. Momo, you take a look at the maps here.
I don't need to.
Is there any... Okay.
Momo told me that Elevate's going to win breakout S&D. He
did?
Me, yeah, just...
No. Phil said that Uplink is their strongest game.
Oh, he did? Okay, because Phil told me earlier on.
What was it, Throwback?
Throwback Hardpoint was actually their best map.
Yeah.
Breakout S&D goes to Elevate again.
Elevate.
Again, you're telling me.
They can't go 0-18.
You said again like they won the last one. They lost. Again, they haven't won a game. There's no again.
Okay.
They haven't done anything again.
Okay, they haven't done anything yet, but you know what?
Watson, best of less, right?
Watson turns up on Sunday.
On Sunday, they just
okay.
Again, to reiterate, all E6 need here is a win. It doesn't matter the score whatsoever. They just have to win this series.
Yep,
and we expect them to win this series. He's still believing. There's no way Elevate go 0-18.
There is no way.
I can set it down to the casters right now, but I tell you, Jack looks nervous that the meme's going to be broken.
Oh, it most certainly has already. There's been some fun on social media with it. Yes, it's frustrating if you're Elevate or an Elevate fan, but at a certain point, you just kind of have to laugh, TP, at some of the stuff we've seen up to this point this weekend.
It's pretty bad. And you know, Jack, if I had to pick one match to cast this whole weekend, definitely would have chose this one.
It would have, really?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, we're still going to have fun.
Oh, it's going to be a great time. Why are we hugging? Hello.
Because I'm just so happy I got TP up here. I was originally supposed to cast with Mr. X. I spoke to everybody up and down the chains of power. We brought it all the way to the top. Got him out of there, thank God. And now I'm here with TP, and TP, let's just sit and chat and have a good time with this series. It's Throwback Hardpoint map number 1 between Elevate and Enigma6. First, before anything, we just heard the scenarios. Coming into today, did you have any belief in your mind that we could be seeing the point that we're now at right now?
I had a little bit of an inkling. I didn't think E6 would take Ghost on so easily, though. A lot of momentum for them after that series. I really expect them to come out and just brutalize Elevate in this one, especially on this map number 1, the Hardpoint. Proto and Cade, sort of the weaker players throughout the weekend, just performing a lot better today. All 4 of the players finally looking like they're a full unit, trying to get that 4-2 record to force a 3-way tie. And, man, if you're going to come into a Sunday and get a 6-0 map count for your playoff life, well, it's the best time to do it, right?
Yeah, right. So any time to turn up, it typically is on Sunday. You know all about that in your career. Sunday is where the big money is made. An example here, though, no big money on the line today, but if they qualify in that top 2, there's opportunity for big money at the Stage 2 playoffs. Let's flip the script, though, and look at Elevate. You've already kind of heard some frustrations with these guys on social media. I walked outside after their loss earlier, and they basically had Watson and Reedy going at each other's neck. I don't even know what you do. They still have champs on the horizon. What do you even do now if you're a leader of this team or a member of the Elevate organization?
I mean, just hearing that they're arguing is a good thing, in my opinion. Granted, that's not the best sort of situation to be in a team. Don't get me wrong. It's not ideal. But the fact that they're arguing and finally talking about something, it seemed like the previous couple of days, just nothing really going their way, not many changes going on. And
yeah.
this is going to be your team. The rosters are locked. You have to make this work through the biggest tournament of the year, right?
Yeah.
So figure out something, start changing roles, give someone a new weapon, figure something out that might possibly work. Just throw everything in the garbage because, hey, they're memeing right now, Jack. 0-15.
They're memeing indeed. Proto sliding around with this Erad. He's now 4-1. Everyone from Elevate outside the hard point, and the rotation towards Bike will come in. So Elevate are down. Enigma6 doing what they do best. Cade and Proto, you mentioned at times, they've had some up and down gameplay. General and Royalty, though, these two have just continued to be superstars. They're like a dynamic duo, and I think, team, for the most part, it almost strikes me as kind of General, who you know can comfortably now continue to run this AR, and they have the flexibility now with Royalty to have a secondary AR with that K-bar, or, as we saw in Frost Uplink, a fast-paced playing Karma submachine gun player.
The fact that he can turn and burn on people in the way he does is just absolutely insane. I think he might be one of the best Frost players with that Karma that I've seen. Cade, though, throughout the weekend as well, just so many 2-pieces. We saw it in Search and Destroy. He picked up a 3-piece versus FaZe last night, which is pretty crazy to do on Crusher.
Yeah.
Just every single player on this team stepping up when they need to most. And General, with this roster change, just really got that slaying power that he really needed for so long now throughout the year. And it's crazy to think about. What if they had this roster going back, you know, a couple months back? They've been around that sort of 5 to 8 range for a long time now. Again, they get a 5th, 6th at Anaheim, but man, it seems like the sky is the limit for these guys.
He just saw Royalty. Remember, folks, this man plays on double the sensitivity of most pro players, and he just hit those shots with the Erad from that range.
Give me a headache.
Yeah, and the man can still do just as good with any weapon in his hand as anybody else. People questioned early in his career if it was his best decision to rock that high sense. He's proved time and time again he knows how to control it. It's now a 1-minute-plus lead for the side of Enigma6 as they're going to look to steamroll back through. The fidget spinner on the minimap, weakens Zed, and there's the kill from Royalty.
And Elevate just not doing a good job at all. There's only one player in the hill. There's 2 players watching underpass, which is not what you want to do. That's a very small lane. You don't need 2 guns watching that one. And it's just an easy break. General just walks in, gets some help from Royalty again, and it's like it's just effortless from them. Elevate, it's just a problem they've had the whole time. It's literally looking like they aren't talking when you're watching that minimap at the top left. It's like, why is there multiple people in this one spot not helping the guy in the objective?
Yep.
Just so many things going wrong, and, well, they're about to be down 100. It's depressing me.
It's
again.
That's been the continued theme for TP this weekend. You've got 3 players double positive nearly on the side of Enigma6. Cade still with this K-bar, just flying around the map, correctly predicting where enemies will be at. As if you're Enigma6, you're just continuing to get more ahead. You already have an 80-second lead, and that's just in one set of hills. As you're already kind of thinking map 2 if you're on the side of Elevate. Royalty now 19-9. I just love watching this guy. I don't know, did you get much experience playing against him towards the latter half of your career, or have you just mainly been involved in seeing him from a casting role?
I played against him a lot in Advanced Warfare, and it wasn't very fun, especially online. He's playing on a million sensitivity with that ASM-1. A lot of the times, my old hands were just like, where'd he go? This is too much for me. But overall, just a fantastic player that's really blossomed, especially throughout this year. Look at him now, 20-10, 21-10. The guy is just not losing gunfights. The last series on that Frost, just turning and burning on people with the high sensitivity. And early on, I just didn't think that high sensitivity was really consistent enough, but I think you made the point earlier during your cast where he's really developed that long-range style much better over the past year and a half, I think, and now just so well-rounded, can use any sort of weapon on this game. It's going to be interesting to see, how long, or where he's going to end up in you know another year's time.
No, I think the big thing too, and this is something that I've kind of been going back and forth with as well, is I feel like higher sensitivity players can get away with a little bit more when the weapon, the main ARs are fully auto, and it's not a burst weapon. Like last year, obviously with the M8, all burst, I feel like that hinders you if you have a high sensitivity compared to one of these normal ARs we're seeing now in the NV4. Royalty showing you do with any weapon. Yeah,
definitely. That, you know, it's all about the bullet registration. When you have a burst sort of weapon overall, it's really hard to hit that clean burst when your analog sticks flying across the screen. So definitely helps in this game. A lot of the assault rifles have a faster rate of fire. Really benefits him. But man, look at this score. Shocker, not close. 122-point game right now. The SMGs on the side of E6 just absolutely dominating. And this is just a stat pad game. I'd love to be in this group. It's like, oh, my KD's around even right now. Oh, I got to play against Elevate. I'll be at a 1.9.
Actually, that's actually a funny point you bring up. This will probably be some of the most unique stats we've seen so far in the Global Pro League, because
talk about inflated,
has basically had 2 series, 6 maps each to just get highest stats as possible.
Right.
Royalty's almost at a 3.0 KD. They're outslaying their opponents by 41 kills right now.
41. I wonder what the record is this year in general. It's got to be pretty darn close.
Yeah.
40 kills? Okay.
40 kills, the difference there. Now we'll drop it back down into the 30s. But either way, I mean, I don't know. I'm sorry.
Jack has nothing left in the tank.
I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
I'm just thinking about the next series. That's what all eyes are on, right?
It's very important, and E6 did a great job of making today matter a lot more with that 3-0. And now that map count sort of scenario comes into play. This one, not so much, because it is, well, it could possibly be a 3-way tie scenario. You only take the map count from the 3 teams involved with it, obviously, but it's not like it matters. Elevate hasn't even showed up, so.
Everyone was 6-0 against it. It would have actually not mattered at all.
Right.
But it's so crazy to think, TP, as this game probably begins to wind down, that we were at a point last night when FaZe went up 2-0 in that last best of 5, and we all kind of looked at each other and went, during the commercial break going to game 3, went, man, you know, this kind of stinks. Tomorrow won't really mean too much. It's looking like this will just be, you know, FaZe and Ghost. Congratulations to them. They just walk on through and get their spots, and Sunday will just be 4 series of Call of Duty. That's about it.
Right.
But then E6 comes to life. They reverse sweep. Now they come in today, they win their series against Ghost 3-0, and now everything is falling into place for one of the more dramatic final series on a Sunday.
And it's so crazy how one map can literally be the swing throughout a tournament, throughout a group, whatever it may be. That OT uplink versus FaZe last night, look at them, they're just on a roll, haven't lost a map thus far, just cruising. Royalty's just loving this game, 35-13. Man, he's starting to getting close to that 3.0 KD.
Wow.
Just burning on people. The guy is nuts.
Wow. Proto popping camo. He's going to sit inside the hard point, look to get it as close to 250 as he can. This should be it, though. Welcome back. I believe at this point a 7-time member of the 100-point club this weekend for Elevate. As there are 3 staples in life, folks. There's death, there's taxes, and there's Elevate, losing heart.
Oh, no. You went there. Well, I mean, it is a staple.
It is.
At this point.
Yeah. No, it is.
I hate to be so mean about it, but like, even going back to Millennium in the last stage, throughout their group, I don't think they won a hard point. But at least they had some of the other maps, the other game types, they were quite strong at uplink.
Yeah.
Elevate, what are you doing?
Well, think back to stage 1. They kind of sneak in and keep that spot for the second half.
Yeah, with Rated.
For stage 2 with
and
Rated.
Then he dipped.
Then he's off that team, which obviously looks like he made the right decision. But I'm actually reading more now from what I've seen online of frustrations from people saying like, man, I would have much rather have had, you know, the TK roster in here. Maybe straight ripping, you know, Allegiance, anything compared to what we're seing here. I think that's kind of where some of the frustrations come from fans. We now have a team with a 0 and 16 map count.
They beat it, Jack.
It is done.
They are worse than you were at Black Ops 3 S&D. Okay. That was too much.
That was actually really...
that was a jab.
I'm actually really offended at that one.
I'm sorry.
As we're going into S&D on Breakout next. Is this the first time we've seen this weekend? I think so.
It might be. I don't remember back to day 1. I mean, we might have seen one, but
we might have seen one. But either way, wondering maybe this is the map that Elevate can take if Enigma6 aren't too prepared for it. We still have another series today, so sit tight, folks. That series will be the one that means everything for the grand scheme of things going into stage 2. When you were preparing for a big series like that, because I know you did a lot of winning in your career, but there were probably some times where it came down to the wire. what do you even do? You're a few hours off from that match, or an hour now off from that match. You've got to be, that's got to be all you're thinking about.
Oh, 100%. I'm the type of player, I just really like to be warm, you know, shoot 1,000 bots type of guy before a big series like that. There are some other series where it's like, you can kind of roll up and kind of warm up as the series goes, which I don't really advise, especially nowadays where you need to be, you know, flying all over the place. But before a big series like that, just be mentally prepared. I like to have my team together, just keeping the energy going, right? Just keeping the communication lines open and just making sure that shot's on point. You know, there's not really much at that last second you can really prepare for. Just make sure you want to be that guy on your team that steps up and has a big game map #1. If you all do it, well, then it's real easy.
Oh, definitely. And think of the side of E6 right now, man. They've done their job, right? They get their 3-0 over Ghost. They now wind up having their position here against Elevate. They're going to be sitting and watching with all of us for that final series of the day, which will come right after this. I think this one obviously ends in a 3-0. No surprise there. 0-18 map count.
Yeah.
I think it's on our horizon.
Oh, 100%. And speaking on to, you know, people that think another team should be in the league or however that may works, Elevate was once a pretty solid team. And that's one of the things with roster changes. We always talk about how a roster change can benefit a team, how a team needs a change for the better, things like that. But as soon as Rated left this team, it was just kind of a scramble to find someone to really fill that slot. And this isn't to bash Desire too much, but I just don't think that's the role they needed. It doesn't seem like they have a leader whatsoever. Who would you even call the leader on this team at this point?
None. None of the above.
It's a mess.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. I remember when I saw the announcement, I was like, okay, you know, they've got Desire, but typically when I see a new team, I'm hitting that retweet, you know, excited to show it off. Crazy that this is big news in Call of Duty.
Yeah.
When that came out, I was like, okay, I guess that's where they went with it.
What does that bring?
Yeah. Well, plant will go down. First blood did come in for Enigma6. Watson will spot General, and that's a great shot to at least even the numbers back out. Royalty there for the trade. Enigma6, one of the better teams at just holding hands, moving across the map together, and staying on the same mindset when it comes to retaking these sites.
I like that strat from Desire there. He's like, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I can't win a gunfight today. I'm just chilling.
Zed gets shot in the back. 3v1. Now, this is where you just want to hop the bomb. 19 seconds left. Hop on the objective. Let your teammates just bait out. Keep, like, right here. Perfect cover. Not enough time to even get towards those explosives. Round 1 secured by Enigma6.
It's just a mess, honestly. Like, the whole way you want to play S&D is to get together and trade and get to that bomb site that's so hard to retake. Desire says, good luck, buddy. I'm going to sit over here and lay down behind some steps and then let them defuse.
And
that's not a good strat.
It's not. It's funny because, you know, we at times in the past of Call of Duty had, you know, analyst desks where it was more just like casters talking about it. And yes, we can give our opinion. We get to watch from this and gain some information, but you guys have played. You've all won hundreds of thousands of dollars in competitive Call of Duty. You know better than really anybody in some of these scenarios.
Hey, to give you guys props, though, you guys do a great job at giving that analysis as well. You've seen so many different games on different titles. You guys know what you're talking about just fine.
Actually, can someone clip that, please, so I can just have that always ready to go to send to anybody who says I'm not good at my job? Thank you. Because if TP says I'm good, then literally it's time for a race. Here we go.
You're welcome.
Here we go. Cade all by himself, yet to get a kill this game. The only member on E6 still with the goose egg, but we're only one round in. I will say, this is one of the better setups I've seen from Elevate. Look, they know they have the objective down. They're both just shoulder peeking their doors. Now they'll move out together and reset the map. This should be a round victory. There it is. Desire cleans it on up.
All right. So I think the best search and destroy they had is, have they won, what, 2 rounds or 3? I think 3 might have been their best.
Last stat I saw, they played, what was it, 5 S&Ds and they've won 7 rounds?
Oh.
That's what someone brought up. I don't know the exact truth to that, but...
Ow. That's not good.
It's averaging 1.4 rounds per S&D.
I think they're going to get 3 rounds.
Okay. Okay. I mean, hey, this is the least practiced map for these teams, Breakout S&D.
True.
It's the one that I've casted the least by far.
I love it.
I'm still learning a lot about it. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of improvements here compared to what we saw in Scorch. I'm happy the change was made.
Yeah, definitely. The middle map control is just so important. As you can see, E6 setting up right now, and it really just splits the map for you. You can gain so much information off of it. On board with Cade now. He has this sniper, the EMC in his back pocket. The B strat going to be coming in very, very quickly, but looks like General is going to be able to catch this first player. Cade picks up a first blood with the snipe. And why are they so separate? That's what annoys me about it.
I think what annoys me more is why is he standing on top of
that
the
too?
bulldozer?
It's the worst spot in that area.
You've actually got the strongest place of cover where only your head can be seen in literally
you have rocks.
The entire game.
You have a bulldozer. You have a building. And you choose to stand on top.
Questionable.
He's pretending to be a statue.
Hey, you know what? It might just work. You never know. Maybe
it did.
Character's wearing an outfit that makes him look like a statue. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here. 2-1 for E6 as a flank for General works. Cade sniper rifle in the back of the map too. You gotta love to see things like that. As will he go for the Octane type shot right here? Doesn't appear so. Typically you'd high wall run and then peek over towards their lower street.
Oh.
Desire jumped off the map. What's worse than standing and being a statue? Falling off the map. Trust me, I would know.
Looks like Elevate can't even wall run in this one. A bit of an issue, but you know, I think the one saving grace sort of for Elevate on Search and Destroy. Well, this is not even a saving grace, but Watson's been okay. He's been in a lot of clutch scenarios where he picks up a couple of kills. He's 5-3 in this one, and they really should. It's a pretty good clutch scenario for him. He does have to worry about the defuse, so he needs to get moving pretty quickly. But the guy's, you know, almost clutched.
Here goes Watson. Get some shots on a proto, not gonna happen. There's a look at Royalty. He'll get ready for the next round. I love you, T. I really do, because you guys do. You guys on the analyst desk, I gotta give you props. You've had 5 series where you basically just had to be like, this team is better than this other team. And
I think we've really broken it down as much as we can.
Every other way. I just love how you put that right there. Watson has a pretty good at S&D. He's almost clutch.
He's positive.
He is. He is positive. He's got more kills than the rest of his team combined. General again will soar right towards Visitor. Watson with that NV4, doing what he can to keep his team in this game. It's 3-1 now for E6.
Looks like the middle map presence from Royalty and Proto just a little bit too strong. They get loading control each time, and it forces the other team just so far back. They don't want to challenge because it's multiple angles you have to work from, and then it opens up that other side of the map, which General is obviously scouting up, picks up a free kill, and now this puts Elevate in a scenario where they don't have that much time to work with, no sort of map control whatsoever, and both the players are just sort of pinning themselves to a side. This round's going to be over very, very quickly.
Proto again has fantastic cover. He's got one of the best ARs from range watching over him. Royalty now there as well, and this should be a quick cleanup. 4-1 now for E6.
Just great. It's a great setup.
Continue to walk on through, and TP, this map, I would say, I would love to actually see if there's a number on this, but I would say if you get middle map control, it is one of the quickest maps in COD history to rotate to either bomb site.
It's got to be close.
With that mid spiral and showers right there, you can literally get sight and protection on bomb if you have that mid street in 2 seconds on either side. That's not even exaggerating.
Well, it's like, I feel like a lot of teams just haven't really got comfortable with aggressing towards loading. Loading just gives you this crazy amount of lines of sight into A, towards the middle at the top window, and if you get control of it early on and around, it just, other teams like, oh, this isn't fun at all. Let's just back up. And as soon as you back up, you give yourself one basically bad lane to sort of push. It just makes it really tough on you. But you see how Elevate isn't doing that. They're sitting so far back on the map. They just let them waltz into the bomb site, get it down, and Reedy's still just not moving.
Here comes the pinch from General again. Sees both players. Great trigger discipline to recognize he should go for the one without the rear guard. Watson, nope, evens the numbers back out, puts his team at an advantage. Now Cade just trying to stay alive. He's been tagged up by a grenade. He's got Royalty watching over. They've got to check the bomb. He does just that. But I think that this should be a round win for Elevate. There it is. Watson cleans up a third. Watson now 10-6, TP, far and away the best player on this map.
Go on, Watson.
Go on, mate.
They're getting 3 rounds in this one. Watson's going to end up with 14 kills and not be happy.
Dude, if they go to a round 11, Watson could break the kill record.
Oh, that's true. Maybe that's what they're going for.
That's their takeaway for them. That's their silver lining, as you mentioned.
Nice.
There it is from Watson. He fell off the map right after, but either way, the damage was done. 4-2. Enigma6 still in the lead. Do we see Cade bring out a sniper rifle yet again on defense? Nope.
Yeah, only 3 kills with it, and 2 of those kills were in 1 round. So Watson, only one seeming to do anything on the side of Elevate, has this camo. So I want him to just hit up middle, try and get some loading control. But it looks like it's just going to be a generic sort of push over towards this A side. They should be able to catch this one player that's posted up in the corner, but nope. They get some help. The bait and switch from Royalty right there was so darn strong. He slides to the corner, gives them no line of sight, but Watson has something to say about it. Has the camo at the ready. Some nice shots. Gets the second, forcing a 1 versus 1. They might win 3 rounds at a search and destroy, Jack. I'm excited about it.
Someone tell somebody there is a chance for them to win half of an S&D. Desire will fall back to Helipad. Unfortunately, wasn't there to trade out the kill onto Watson, which will give Cade an opportunity in this round to clutch up. Remember, it is Desire on offense who will have to plant this objective. Cade playing close areas with the ERAD doing exactly what he needs to do. Here comes the engagement, though. Could be happening here any moment. As all these players just sneaking right around each other. He still hasn't spotted him.
I like the spot from Cade, though. Can get those sort of quick peeks whenever he needs it, but bomb does go down. Does the player get away? No information gained yet from Cade. Now he has to guess.
And let's look at Desire. I mean, look at this. This is what we talk about so much. It's a free defuse.
Come on, man.
That's mind games from Cade right there.
Great play.
Yeah.
I love taking that sort of play. You catch that timing. You know the player probably won't be checking the bomb for at least 4 seconds in that scenario, but Desire was already at middle map. He had no intention of checking that bomb in the next 25 seconds, let alone 5.
He could have defused 4 bombs.
That's great math, Jack.
Thank you. Thank you. As that would be 30 seconds in total it would have taken. As now Watson with camo still has yet to use it, but when your team's on the verge of losing, it's time to bring it on out. Nice. Anything you can. Think he has been spotted. Reedy's there for first blood. Now a 2v2. I'm making a 2v1 for Watson. Watson does get the 14 kills. He said Desire versus General again, now in a 1v1.
Did he spot him right there? I don't think he
did.
Yep,
I think both players have seen each other.
Right there. So General just taking the confident round, just going to lay this bomb down. Desire needs to get over there ASAP, though. General catches some timing.
Oh, no. And there goes General. Well, anything you can do, I can do better, says Desire right there.
That's awesome. Elevate learning from their opponents.
Right there. They're taking strategy.
They're like, our strats don't work at all. I like that one. Let's do the same.
I like that. This is mine. This is mine now. This is mine now. As
it works like a charm.
They got their 3-round wins.
We were talking about earlier how no one hops bombs, and we see back-to-back 1v1s.
It's almost like it works.
Okay.
It's almost like it works. Watson still doubling the kills of his entire team, now at 14. He probably wishes Breakout S&D was played more often.
Yeah, he loves this one.
As they've just...
That corner again.
All run past Cade.
Oh, my gosh.
And Cade doesn't see anything. Wow. So now, both teams have no idea. Look at this. At some point, does Enigma6 say, something's fishy here?
Yeah, they're just not seeing any sort of information. They must be thinking they're just waiting at spawn at this point, but Royalty in a pretty quality spot. He gets caught out by Zed. As he gets over to the bomb site, there is one player to contest, and a huge gunfight one from Proto. Should get the second, but no. He gets off the bombs, and Zed turns and burns on him. 1 versus 2 now for Cade. Elevate might do it again.
Cade can't win it. Elevate!
Here they go.
Go on, lads!
Is this the first map they're going to win, Jack? I don't think so. I'm sorry.
Desire.
That was a good round, though.
Done. It was. It's like that corner is so good for Cade that it's almost too good because he can't even see if players are running past him. Like, he checked that backside, but unless they're in, like, one perfect frame at that moment, he will have no clue that a strategy like that just happened.
Zed must have had to do something crazy there, though, to put the bomb down while planning and still get the kill onto Proto.
Nuts.
Wow. That must have been a huge gunfight win.
Well, here we go, E6. You're up 5-4, now into round 10. First round of the game, I think, for Watson that he didn't get a kill. Easy to see a bunch flying over for E6, and yeah, look at the red arrows on the map. It's time to move.
Some nice shots from Watson, just keeping those players in as fast as possible. Over challenges, though. General gets the advantage, the height advantage overall. Reedy gets in and gets 1, but the number advantage going to be over towards E6 as they get the plant down. Zed's got an SMG. It's going to be really tough to push with that weapon.
Royalty's got reactive. You got Cade with cover behind the bomb. Slide comes in. 1 now dead. Royalty with the FTL jump cleans up the game. 6-4. E6 up 2-0. Elevate now 0-17.
Well, it was a little bit better.
It was.
Some quality strategies overall from Elevate on that one. Watson, though, a really dominant game. Finally, one player there wasn't really one sort of standout from Elevate. They're all just kind of equally bad for the most part. Reedy had a couple of good respawns, but Watson on that one, wow. Lots of kills from him, a great camo play, some huge 1v1 diffuses, a bit of a weird S&D.
I like it. That's what Breakout's all about, baby. Yeah. We want to see more of it. Obviously, that was the first we saw of it this weekend. Either way, Elevate, you have one last shot to win a map, our second to last series of the weekend. It's E6 up 2-0. When we come back with this break, we'll conclude our best of 5.
The difference between playing here and playing at other events, it just makes me feel like there's not many fans here, but there's still people that come out to support.
My favorite part about playing in the Pro League is it's much more relaxed.
The games are still intense, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to out of game, you know, it's just you and the pros, the MLG staff. You got the lounge up here, we could watch games and just talk, and it's a better environment for if you're just trying to relax.
It's a lot different because there's not such a big crowd and there's less games to play. I like the space between games.
Playing less matches mean more time to, prepare, and, that benefits us as a team.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the continued coverage of the CWL Global Pro League Stage 2 presented by PS4. We're in our final couple matches of the weekend. This one really doesn't mean too much in the grand scheme of things, just Enigma6 looking to see if they can close out their weekend with another 3-0. Up next, though, is everything. It's FaZe going up against Ghost Gaming to see who will wind up taking those top 2 spots in the group. TP, that's what we're all looking forward to. We've had some fun here today, though.
Oh, definitely. E6 really putting their own fate in their own hands with getting that clutch win versus FaZe last night. They got the big win, the 3 over Ghost in the previous series. Just really looking really strong today. I didn't really know where to gauge them. They had a really solid placing at Anaheim, but now finally turning it around. I'm not sure what their problem was on day 1 and 2. A couple of players just falling a bit behind to the average, I guess. But today, man, they had their Wheaties.
8 maps in a row it would be if they take this one on uplink since they went down 0-2 to FaZe. If you haven't heard it enough already, I'm just going to bring it up one more time. If Elevate lose this map, that will put them at 0-6 in series, 0-18 in maps this weekend. Something that I didn't actually think I would ever see, but it may just happen here in week 2 of stage 2.
I've been very harsh with these guys, obviously, as I feel like we should be. If you don't win a map here, you obviously qualified. You had the talent to make it here out of a pool of so many talented teams.
Yep.
And the fact that you aren't making a lot of these maps competitive is annoying to me. However, that last map, Watson wanted it. He played extremely well. They got 4 rounds on the board. Or was it 3?
4.
4 rounds on the board. The best S&D we've seen from them throughout this weekend. That's the type of stuff I want to see, making maps competitive as they very easily can.
Well, here we go. Game 3. Royalty with the Erad again, flying all around. As you expect an uplink, it's what he does best. As Elevate will be spawning from the top station side of the map. 2 dead from either team. General swings the numbers in his team's favor, and he's going to look for the 3rd just around this corner. Doesn't see Desire on the ground. Nice job from Desire to lower that sight line.
Cade getting very aggressive up towards his back alley. Going to be blocking some of these spawns. If he wins this gunfight, very heads-up play. Got the call out from his teammate Reedy. Picks up that kill, but now statue control going to be in the side of E6. There is one player in that top building ready to try and stop him, but that drone, there's no one to stop this orange tarp push. That should be an easy one. Doesn't drop in. A nice pick, though.
The pick, but here's the issue. The dunk to follow. One of those scenarios where it's better for the drone to just go on through. 2-0 now, the Enigma6 lead. As again, they just continue to walk right through these teams they've faced in their last few matches.
Elevate with the drone down in their hands, taking this, trying to get that one off over towards that railing, but it doesn't even get the attempt off. Cade going to be trying to get that reset off. There is one player on him. Watson is there wreaking havoc in the base, but the drone is reset. Zed taking this drone up towards construction again, not deciding to go for the 1 because Watson's just slaying so hard to the base. Do they get the dunk, though? The drone does drop. Trades going down back and forth. Not sure how it's going to end.
See, Desire's got to win that, man.
No points. Yeah, you can't, you can't get peace there.
I feel like that's always something we've seen with Elevate. It's like right there, that is their scoring opportunity. Desire's got a weak player in front of him. He's got a great opportunity for a kill, and he just doesn't secure it.
Oh, man, you just need to pick up those big-time kills when you're putting so much pressure on the base. But regardless, E6 doing a great job of rotating this drone out of that sort of vulnerable position of the middle of the map towards construction. It seems like the last player alive always has that drone in hand, ready to make the appropriate play. As this does reset, Elevate slaying just fine in this one. Reedy starting off 8-4, which is really quality. Watson having another good game, it seems, but Cade just trying to get this drone out. He gets the 1 off. Does it get over? Oh, nope. Not quite bouncing in. Another reset coming in. See, why? That's the type of play that doesn't make sense to me either. Why reset it? You have complete control of your base. You can just run the drone up. Luckily, it does work out for him, so it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme, but it's little plays like that that can really make the change. 2 teammates taken out. The 1 does go off, but picked off by E6.
Enigma6 have been exceptional.
Very good. Almost as good as LG is, in my opinion. Multiple players always ready to get those picks off at the time. It's just great defense from them. But
the best uplink teams that we're starting to see separate others is, 1, knowing obviously when it's time to push or when it's time to slay. That's the base, right? That's immediately where you start to see teams be better than others. Second are the different 1-point plays, knowing some interesting spots you can hit, being consistent, everyone on the team getting involved in 1-pointers. Yeah. Just building whatever lead they can, not trying to force 2s. The next, you've got to make an argument now for players and interceptions because we've seen those swing games.
Yeah.
And then the final now for me, which has been some of the biggest difference makers, has been when there's that guaranteed score with camo, teams that have started to body block the portals. That's like the most heightened part of the skill gap.
It's like the levels of it.
Yep.
It's a good point.
And teams that have now begun to body block those portals, even if you save that 1 dunk, again, that now removes camo as one of those insane game-changing things towards the end of the map.
Yeah, it's very impressive, too. over the course of this game, teams have gotten so good at calling out and killing the camo player, especially when they're running that drone. It's been impressive to see sort of the difference between a lot of these teams of which ones have improved throughout the past, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months of this game, and the ones that just have kind of stayed the same.
Here's one of the biggest spawn traps in competitive Call of Duty. They have the setup they want. They get them in back gas alley. You have Cade playing this close corner. There's their opportunity to exit. 3 now dead again. Proto going to re-challenge. He's got help from Royalty. They actually force a spawn out, 1 at bottom construction, that is one of the most rare spawns I've seen. Typically, the backup spawn is where 2 just popped up with Reedy at Statue.
So that's actually a mistake from E6. The setup is way too spread out. They're watching the gas and inside of the alley, forcing that spawn out over towards Statue. Watson loves that spawn, picks up a 3-piece as they get drone back in their favor, but they keep getting all these kills and not getting any sort of points off of it. Again, you get pieced. You can't. You have more people there. How does you let one guy get away with his life, pick up multiple players? It should have at least 3, 4 points in this one, Jeff.
And look at Enigma6. They just want to add insult to injury. They're going for any potential 1-point play they can get. Thankfully, Zed is there to shut the door. E6 up 7-0, now 5 minutes away from another 3-0.
Really could have got a lot worse if they didn't really block those spawns too much. Forcing the spawn out towards Statue could really easily be, I don't know, maybe 12-0 at this point.
Yeah.
Elevate, you know, even when they are picking up the initial kills, that is step 1 of Call of Duty in any sort of game type you're playing. You pick up waves of kills, and then they just make really bad decisions. They take too much time getting the drone to where it needs to be at. They reset it at odd times where they have control. Just don't really use their lanes correctly.
Now, if you're E6 here, as we'll just let this game play on out, and you look at today, you know, no matter what happens, but no matter what's the outcome in the final series, I think you've kind of done what you needed to do in your last 3 matches, right? The phase 1, you reverse sweep, you 3-0 the team atop the group today, and you wind up 3-0ing your final match. Yes, your weekend started slow, but you improved along in really all 3 game modes for me.
Yeah.
You've gotten better and better at communicating. You've bounced back from a frustrating moment with that uplink with the controller issue with Mox. I think even if you don't want to make it in, there's a promise for this team when heading in towards the CWL Championship.
Couldn't ask for anything better, just winning the last 9 maps possible throughout a weekend, throughout a tournament. You know, that's all you can do. Whatever happens, happens at that point. Yeah, you can think back to the first couple of days, the first series of the tournament, say, oh, we should have done this, should have done that. But when you see improvement, that's just the main thing you want to ask for in any sort of competitive environment like this. All these teams are so darn good. It's impressive from them.
Royalty trying to use that drone as a weapon. Fortunately, doesn't work out for him there.
That was sick.
Oh my gosh, if he got that second kill, I would have just actually asked if we can end the game. 3.5 minutes left. Still 8-0, 4-possession game. Reedy and crew really, they've only gotten close once, and that was a 1-point throw that was intercepted.
Proto almost pulls off another play there in the last series on that Frost. You saw him get the first beat down, chuck the drone to another player, kill him, get the point off. Proto's so good with the drone picking up frags.
There's 9-0, and they have control of the base too. The overextension now from Elevate. This should be another dunk. Folks, you're seeing this correctly. Elevate have now commandeered the base of E6 with no drone to show for it.
Royalty just sort of hanging out in the middle of the map. Royalty's going to end up with probably the highest KD ever in a Call of Duty series, 25 and 15 in this one. The hard point, he was almost triple positive. A 1-point attempt going off. Does it drop in? Nope. Missed throw. FTL coming in from Elevate. They do get the drone back in their hands. The dunk coming in. There's points on the board. A nice FTL play.
It's all part of the strategy, baby. Botch the 1-point play. Go for the dunk right after. They now have the spawn trap. And, you know, if this was a closer game, you'd say, wow, here comes a big swing. You know, here comes the opportunity to retake the lead. Unfortunately, down 11-0. Okay. Even with the setup you want, still now a 4-possession game.
It's good to see at least showing some sort of things. Okay. That grenade was not. Come on, man. I was going to make a good point given the props, and I see this guy bank a grenade.
That was just funny. That was, we got to laugh at that one. As a few do go down. Royalty still. The guy just always, like, look at. Okay, if he was able to get behind cover and make something happen, that would have actually been insane too. 1 minute and 50 seconds left. The hopes and dreams of a map victory seem to be going away for Elevate in this group.
Nice trades going down in the middle of the map there. Statue control seems to be in the side of Elevate in this one, and they got a bit of a trap. They have plenty of time to do it again. couple of kills. Reedy needs to go on this flank now as they move this drone forward towards this orange tarp. Player spotted. Watson's shot just looking so darn good today. Reedy slaying quite well. A Duncan coming in. Nope, falls in for one. A bit unfortunate though, but they should have this spawn trap set up. Oh, Watson almost able to pick up, what, a 5-6 streak there on that one. The rest of his team though, none of them got a kill in that sequence when you're spawn trapping.
Oh my, that right there is royalty. That's royalty who gets those 3 kills outside station. Guns the first at the portal, gets a second kill onto Watson, and then just turns onto Desire and makes him look like he has no clue what's going on. It's time for another dunk. 3-6 now. 13-5. Royalty 33-19. 2 points on the board.
Oh,
I'm done. I'm done. He used reactive there, but I'm done.
The guy's sensitivity is absolutely insane. Gets caught out by Zed there. Another 1-point attempt going in. 14-5 now. This one's over. And Elevate. It's just zero. Just nothing.
You've been involved for competitive Call of Duty for years. This team just came to this weekend and went 0-18. Have you ever seen or heard of anything like that in your time?
I'm trying to think back. I'm sure.
I mean, 100 Thieves.
Yeah, that was.
At Anaheim was bad last year.
Yeah, I don't think they won some maps though.
Did they? Pulse did bad too.
It's got to be one of the worst, to be honest with you, Jack. It's just hasn't been very competitive. Regardless, though, E6 finished with 9 map wins in a row to end the weekend. Very dominant stuff from them.
GG's, E6. You've done your job to this point. Now it all goes in the hands of FaZe and Ghost, as they now have their final series today. Fist bumps all around. And it seems the nightmare is now over of the weekend for the side of Elevate.
Just tough. Yep. Very, very tough. I don't even know where you really go from that. I would try and say it was good practice for them, but it really wasn't at times. And just to get serious for a moment, they really need to have a long talk about things, switch things up. It seemed like today Watson was the only one that had any sort of beneficial gameplay going on. Reedy had a decent map 3 there, but man, just a mess overall for him for the weekend.
They've got a lot to think about moving forward, but they still have champs on the horizon. Either way, that will do it for our second to last series. Benson and the boys, have some fun.
Thank you very much, Jack. Thank you, TP. I think Jack kind of summed that up best. A nightmare of a weekend. In actual fact, I think that's probably even worse than a nightmare. And I think even in your worst dreams imaginable, you would think that you wouldn't win a single map during your group stage. But 0-18, Matt, I never thought I'd see the day that Jack's meme was beaten, but we have today.
It's just really poor. I mean, you put in a lot of time, right, to come here and put together a good effort, and you don't walk away with the game. It's got to be devastating for them. Obviously, this is a team that we've seen success from some of their guys before, but just looking at the sample size this weekend, it was not good. Not a lot of positives to take from it. They need to go home and they need to put in some serious work before we get the champs. They cannot come out and just kind of do this again.
Yeah, especially biggest tournament of the year. Of course, Momo, it was a struggle.
Yeah, that's the problem is for these guys now, and you can kind of see it on Reedy's face there, and like his head in his hands. I have confidence in the fact that if these guys split up, I know they can't right now, but if they split up, they recreate a team, I don't know, they could do a lot better than that. I'm not saying they win, not saying they come top 2, but 0-18 is unacceptable. The problem is they're stuck with this roster and they've got to make the best out of I don't even want to say a bad situation. It's horrific at the moment. And they know that. They'll be the first to admit it. And I think the one thing that they just need to do, I don't even think it's game time. They just need to talk to each other. I think Teep said it before.
Teep said it, Joe said
they need to work out who is their MVP player. They need to work out who's that aggressive SMG with Zed. I want them to do so.
Figure it out. Gotta be an adult.
It's still even in your wildest imagination, you knew, let's say if you knew you were out manned or you were outskilled coming in, a map,
an SMB,
a map.
An SMB.
We're not even talking about a series. Map.
Yeah, the one thing I would love to know is, did they watch back E6's SD at Anaheim? Did they watch back some of FaZe's gameplay, or did they do anything beforehand? If they did and it didn't work out, if they put an effort in, great. If they haven't, I feel like That's what you got to work with when you're you know, the lesser team. You've got to have the knowledge. You know, not everyone. I'll put my hands up. I was definitely the most skilled individual player, but the one thing I always tried to do was outsmart someone. You know, think more, work harder, be the harder worker in the room.
Phil, you were talented.
You were talented, Phil.
You were good. You were good at video games, Phil.
I wasn't 0 and 18.
All right, so
Phil, you were on 4 Kings.
That's true.
And when I went to Europe, I made you into my princess.
Got him, Joe. Got him, Joe. Got him, Phil.
I would love to defend you, but he really did.
I got to the winner bracket final to lose to him at least. Like,
at least you lost in style and dignity.
I was
probably cheated.
I would love to sit here and kind of break down that series, but there's not really any point. We've really explained what Elevate needs to do better, and for Enigma6, it was just a good gameplay all around in every single map. They come out and they get the 3-0 as expected. But that leads to the bigger question, and there's been a lot of confusion, a lot of people confused about, all right, who's through, who stands where? So we'll break it down, and we'll start, of course, just explaining the final game of the day, Ghost versus FaZe. What are all the scenarios that could potentially happen? Now, if Ghost win, they will go through. It is as simple as that. Any Ghost win, Ghost will qualify, as will E6, of course, because E6 will be 4 and 2.
That'd be nuts.
FaZe will be 3 and 3. So any Ghost win, that's all they need. Now, on the flip side, let's say FaZe, they get a 3-0 victory over Ghost. That means you will see FaZe and E6 qualify, which, Merc, that would have put Ghost 0-6 on the day. I mean, I don't think many people would have expected that.
I mean, it's a tough day. It is
a tough day, but
yeah, I mean,
how well they played.
I mean, I can see them losing both series today, but 0-6, probably nobody would have predicted that, especially just how good their Search and Destroy has looked and their uplink. Their hardpoint has been at times shaky, but yeah, 0-6, that's pretty tough.
Pretty tough. Yeah. Very, very tough. Now, let's say if FaZe get a 3-1 result over Ghost Gaming, the outcome, of course, would actually be exactly the same. FaZe and E6 would still qualify. So, of course, you're sat there at home thinking, all right, well, what happens if it is a 3-2? And that was, as Matt kind of said earlier on in the day, just to reiterate, if they're able to take 2 maps, they will qualify. It would be FaZe and Ghost in the result of a FaZe 3-2 victory.
I tell you what, if I'm E6, I feel pretty good. I mean, look at this last match, and obviously FaZe, they're going to come out with a ton to play for. I mean, they do not want in their first event with Gunless on this roster to not qualify for playoffs. Like, that would be brutal for this squad. I think FaZe is going to come out with a lot of momentum, and it's a momentum-based game. I mean, we saw Spiral. We saw Spiral one way for Elevate, right, where it goes kind of down south. It's like, look at E6. You know, they took it the complete opposite direction. They rally off 9 straight maps in their weekend.
And I'm just thinking, too, looking at the maps, throwback hardpoint, that's a tough one for Ghost Gaming, especially the talent that's on FaZe. Then you have a breakout S&D. I can see that going towards the Ghost way, but then a precinct uplink as well. I just feel like FaZe is really strong at those respawns. So it's going to be a tough series, a very tough series for Ghost Gaming.
Definitely is going to be tough, but it seems, you know, we do have a little bit of time before that final series of the day gets underway. I have to ask you, Matt, I'm going to start with you. What 2 teams do you see qualifying for playoffs?
The pressure's on, Matt. Think.
I'm going to say FaZe takes the series 3-1.
So your FaZe wins 3-1.
Yes. So that would be FaZe and E6.
E6 would qualify for playoffs,
which like disheartens me is I like the 3 teams that we have in this group are all so talented.
Yeah.
Like that you could say like any of these teams go to playoffs, like they're definitely going to make an impact at that event.
I think we're going to say that. I think we're going to say that about the next 2 weeks, though. Like honestly, there's just a lot of solid teams right now.
Let's not forget the first time that these 2 teams played each other, Ghost did win 3-1. The only map they dropped was a throwback Search and Destroy, which was a 6-4 victory for FaZe. With that kind of refreshing your memory, you're still.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I think the difference between the Ghosts then and I guess what we've seen today, or at least like kind of what we think could potentially happen, is they were winning those respawns. I mean, they win what, all 3 respawns against FaZe? Is there any chance they win all 3 respawns here? I mean, there's a chance, right?
Yeah,
but
I just don't see it
would you put the percentages high?
No, I think FaZe is just getting better and better, and I think the fire of FaZe is just going to be much more higher. I think you're going to hear Enable talking the entire time. That's when you know. If you've ever watched FaZe before at a LAN event, you'll hear Enable the entire time talking for all 3 players. Like, he just goes into a next level communicator. So you'll definitely listen to Enable.
With that said, What two teams, Merc, do you see qualifying for playoffs for this final game?
I think FaZe and E6.
FaZe and E6 qualify? You think a similar scoreline, 3-0, 3-1?
I think so.
You think so, Momo?
I've got to go 3-1. I think
3-1.
Yeah, the same.
FaZe?
I think FaZe and E6 qualify. It's horrible to think.
I'm nervous.
I've got to ask the question though, Joe. Was that ever in your career where you were in a position similar to E6 where basically your fate was in another team's hand? I mean, what's that like as a player?
I mean, you just sit back. I mean, of course, I'm sure. I don't really remember all the tournaments, though, especially with pool play. You just sort of sit back and watch. I mean, it's just what happens. The good thing is, again, they took care of business. They won the last 9 maps, right? With a reverse sweep over FaZe. Finally, they stepped up big time. I think this is the E6 we were expecting coming into this weekend, but yeah, but I honestly feel like the scenarios kind of play out into their favor. Like, I don't think they're that bad. Like, if Ghost wins, they're in. And FaZe,
there's only one outcome.
Yeah,
only one outcome.
Yeah,
there's only one possible
game
result.
5, right?
They put themselves in a great spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's not even just avoid the game. Actually, yeah, it would completely avoid that game 5. That one outcome. So pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Of course, we did have score streak in that last matchup, and I'm sure you guys voted pretty heavily in favor of Enigma6 in any of those questions. But this is what we asked: how many points will Elevate score in Game 1? 31% of you got this correct. 0 to 100, they scored 68 points.
Not gonna lie,
I feel like that's 3 points.
It's a pretty easy one to grab. I'm surprised only 31% of the people took that.
I mean, they've had a couple of decent hard point performances.
Yeah, they had like a 190 game, a 200.
225, I think, yeah, and then they had
the
an
rest
87
of them, like,
and a 74.
75, 80.
Yeah, so pretty struggle bus on that one, that's for sure. In terms of question number 2, though, we asked, will any player finish with 10 kills in Game 2? And the result, 81% of you guys got it correct with the yes vote.
I bet they didn't think it'd be Watson. I bet they didn't think that. I tell you what, I was getting excited for a second. I was like, Elevate, they can do it here. I was getting a little bit hot, and then no.
Yeah, he did have a very good search and destroy. It is worth mentioning.
He was carrying him, absolutely.
Definitely did play well. We'll take a look at what we asked in question 3, though. That was how many total points will be scored in the first half? You had an option of less than 7 or more than 7, and 79% went with B, 7 points or more.
This one could have went either way. I feel like you were just kind of banking on E6 to get off to a great start.
People are smart, Ben. They're evolving. We need to have better questions, more ridiculous things.
Harder questions. That's what we need.
People are evolving. They are.
So much COD. People are just getting smart.
He's not wrong. We'll take a look at our leaderboard now for our score streak prediction game. At the top, it's a 9 streak. Punisher, the COD Mohammed. Nicely done there. 8, of course, in second place. You still have a chance of extending that lead, though. As we said, we still do have one more series to be played, but you can play the score streak prediction game exclusively at mlg.tv/COD, where you have the enhanced viewing experience, up-to-date event statistics, featured player POVs, score streak prediction game, of course, and that source quality. But we still have one final game to be played here at Day 3 of Week 2 of Stage 2 of the Call of Duty Global Pro League, presented by PlayStation 4. Any Ghost win means they will qualify with E6 for the Stage 2 playoffs. A Phase 3-0 or 3-1 will be FaZe and E6 going through. It all comes down to this.